wasn't expecting that countdown. Oh, hi everyone. Boy, are we having fun here at my house. It's Christmas Eve.
We're not at a Taco Bell.
I live in an abandoned Taco Bell because when quarantine started, I said I wanted to be with my loved ones. And we're here as ourselves because we're not going to have a new episode this week, and we knew everyone was going to cry and sob and hold their breath until they passed out unless they had new content from us. So Laura and I are going to be talking about our treasured Christmas memories with all of you. And we've written some questions down for each other.
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote them all down on one piece of paper.
I sure did.
I wrote them down on separate because I thought we were picking them up individually. That's fine. That's fine. One thing you'll know about me, the real me, is I'm a very chill dude. I'm very laid back. So we'll start with one of your list questions. It's fine. It's fine.
I'll just
it's
pretend like I wrote them on lots of slips of paper.
51 pickup.
Oh boy. Okay. So, yeah, we did not go over these beforehand, but I was reminiscing about my mom taking us, my sister and I, to see the lights in Public Square when they would do that every year, and there was the parade. And is that something that you and your family did?
We did. This is going to be a very probably Cleveland-centric memory lane for everybody.
Sorry, Yugoslavia
Both
fans.
you and sorry.
Pardon to Moldova. But yeah.
I wish I could apologize in Japanese.
Trying to think.
When did you spent your whole childhood here, right?
Yes.
Okay. As did I. Up until I moved here with my parents when I was 3. And we would come up to the Higbee's Playhouse Square and do the drive-through of all the lights, because back in the 80s, it was enough just to have lights strung up on a building. Like, that was considered impressive decoration. And that's all we needed. We were dumb. We were real dumb. We didn't have phones. We were worse people. So, yes.
Our minds just hadn't been opened up yet.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas lights, they still look great. I still get excited when I see them, even though I don't really put them up. You don't string the outside of your house. I have year-round, they're very nautical looking lights. They're white. Nope, not gonna tell the other color, so you can't find my house. But oh, I know what you mean by nautical. Okay. Yeah, they're bulbs, and so they look great in the summer. I sometimes turn them on in the winter, but no, I don't enjoy the cold at all. That is not an activity that suits me in the least, so the thought of going outside to string up lights has no interest to me. Well, I think the idea is you put them up before it gets cold, but then you have to take them down while it's cold, I procrastinate too much for that. They'd end up going out. You would be that neighbor who just had them up year-round. Yeah. Yeah, the real money shot with the lights is if you had the fake animation, like Santa had 2 positions of the hand. Just the height of decadence, those multi-positions with lights. Did you go to the Twigbees? I sure did. Which Twigbees, I found out that not many people... It's a very, very niche audience that knows Twigbees. If you went to the Higbee's department store, which is featured in A Christmas Story, it was kind of like the big cog next to the Terminal Tower for Christmas shopping. There was a smaller store just for children. It was called the Twigbee Shop. You could see Santa. You could see Mr. Jingling, the patron saint of Higbee's. And the big deal with Twigbees is there was a store just for children, and you could pick cheap, crappy gifts for your parents that cost, what, under $5, I would guess? Absolutely, yeah. And you'd save up your allowance, you'd save up your quarters, and you would go and they'd give you a big bag, and you thought you were the biggest spender. Yeah. Well, you had a personal concierge with you. Were they dressed as elves, or were they just friendly teens? I thought that they had some sort of garb on. Okay. From what I remember. I just remember being very excited yet nervous. Oh, to have this big moment? Yeah. Do you remember anything that you bought for your family? I remember buying my mom a tiny Christmas tree. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. That's actually that's a good idea for a gift for your parent. I remember There was a series. My father is impossible to shop for in general, and like the teen that they had assist you with shopping would point you to the dad section of the store. And I remember it was like a tie rack. It was like, how about a tie rack for your dad? My father has never worn a tie. And I was like, yeah, a tie rack. And then, thank God, this woman said, like, so does your dad wear ties? And he went, no. He was like, oh, okay, how about something different? So I bought my dad this little wire sculpture of a man fishing on a spring. My father does not fish. And I bought my mother a bottle of perfume because I thought it was pretty because there was a big purple glass bird on the top. I can't imagine what a skin burner this perfume must have been because I remember buying it for my mom. It was my mom, so she was like, thank you. This is so great. And then a year later, I opened the bathroom closet and there was a still full bottle of this bird perfume in it. And I went like, do you like this perfume? And she went something like, well, I just don't go out enough to wear. The other perfume was going down just fine.
It was probably just nail polish remover.
Yes. Yeah. It was something to take off asbestos in school basements. I'll ask one now. Do you have a favorite Christmas television ad?
Ooh, yeah. Oh, man. I don't know if I can narrow it down.
You can pick a top 3. I definitely have to go with the top 3.
So one thing that I really am missing this year, I usually have a big annual holiday party, and one of my favorite things to do in preparation for the holiday party is I make a giant playlist of vintage Christmas ads that I pull off of YouTube and play on different TVs around my house while guests are mingling and enjoying all the finger foods and stuff. So I think
Nothing. It's just painting a picture.
Yes, I am. It's called setting a scene.
Yeah. Theater of the mind.
Yeah.
We could have been radio. I'm sorry. Keep going. She has these very nice parties.
I miss
Everyone's
them, and talking about them
time.
just makes me relive them and act like they're happening. But no, I really always loved the Hershey Kiss, the little Jingle Bell ad with the kisses, where I've seen it recently on... I don't watch, well, I guess Hulu Live will still run commercials, but it doesn't look like they've changed it.
You don't need to. That ad, there's nothing that dates it.
Yeah.
It's kisses pretending that they're bells.
The Coca-Cola bear ad will always tug a heartstring. There's
a couple. Do you have a...
It's the one that is on the sled. I don't know if that's specific enough. I just saw a Fruity Pebbles one that actually it has nothing to do with being sentimental or anything, but there's a catchy jingle that I can't remember now because I'm on the spot.
Sounds very catchy.
Yeah,
is it the
was
one
like
where...
fa la 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 la, I'm something. I'm hungry. That's it. Fa la 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 la, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. Yeah. Wow, they spent overtime in the writer's room. Was that the one where Barney dresses up as Santa?
Yes.
What was that was the theme of almost every child's cereal ad was there was one person who wanted to steal the cereal and then everyone else was mad at them because they kept trying to steal cereal. It was like, you don't deserve this!
If you're trying to steal cereal, it's like trying to steal Christmas.
Barney and Fred work at the same place. It's not like Barney is like a vagrant and Fred is gainfully employed and can afford cereal. My favorite Christmas ads is the Campbell Soup one where the snowman comes in from outside and then melts into a child because he's eating Campbell's tomato soup.
Yes, that's
classy.
A great
one. Another favorite Christmas ad. You know what? Maybe I just have the two, but I don't know if it's a specific Christmas ad, but McDonald's in the 80s and 90s, nefarious McDonald's, did such a good job with making you associate Christmas with McDonald's. It's still, like, I went out yesterday for McNuggets because it was cold. I was like, well, it's Christmas time. That means I want McDonald's. They had, like, the reindeer order. Remember that little plush reindeer ornament?
Oh, I did have those, yeah. It does not make me think of Christmas nuggets, though.
There was endless... Well, that's what I would always order as a kid, was nuggets. I wasn't a hamburger kid.
What a bragging point. She's talking about her parties. I wasn't a hamburger kid.
And there was a ton of McDonaldland themed Christmas ads. But the biggest thing that links it in my mind is every child I know, regardless of any economic level, would get the McDonald's book of gift certificates.
Yes.
Every kid. It was like it came like a stimulus check to every child's home. So yeah, they still got me in their greasy little hooks. I actually had the biggest moment of genuine holiday cheer that I've had in maybe years in terms of a stranger giving it to me. I went through the drive-thru.
This is going to be good.
It is good. It's genuinely wonderful. I went to the drive-thru, and the McDonald's near me has an elderly person working at it. Always a favorite of mine. I love the elderly person who works at McDonald's. Everyone's grandparent. This is an elderly trans person who wears very elaborate outfits all the time. Also something I appreciate. So I was in the drive-thru window, and I pull around to the drive-thru, and they're dressed up as Mrs. Claus.
Aww.
Full white wig, little wire glasses, the big, white, red cape with the white fur trim. It opens up and goes, "Merry Christmas." And I give them the money, and when they hand it back, they go, "And a Happy New Year." I'm like, this person works at McDonald's, and they are doing this performance for every car that goes through.
That's wonderful.
McDonald's should put this person in their ad campaign.
They
That's so
absolutely
above
should.
and beyond. But that was the most genuine... like, every store makes you say something. Did you know that when you go to Raising Cane, they make them say, "Hey, howdy, hey, it's Raising Cane's day," or something like... They make them say, "Hey, howdy, hey," like it's Krusty Burger. When you go through the drive-thru at Raising Cane's. And every teen rightfully sounds humiliated to be saying, "Hey, howdy, hey." Can you imagine if you're in high school and like the cool kid pulls up to get some chicken fingers and you have to say, "Hey, howdy, hey" to them?
Now, I've never been to a Raising Cane's. I know that they just opened up one in Lakewood, I believe, right by Hickson's, which is another talking point I want to circle back to.
Okay.
Yeah. But wait, before we go on to anything else, we mentioned this to one another the other day because I texted Zachariah. I am 37 and I've never heard of McDonald's having a holiday pie.
It's more recent.
I had never heard of that, and I enjoy the regular apple pie, but when
We're not sponsored by any of these people,
we are not.
Sorry.
But if you'd like to...
Sure, McDonald's.
We're listening. We're open.
I'm sorry about that greasy comment.
McDonald's apparently makes a holiday pie, and it looks like it has funfetti frosting on top, and then is filled with a warm white vanilla custard, which does not sound appetizing to me in the least. And he replied, he's like, "Well, what would you have come up with?"
Yeah.
I think I would have done one of two things. I would have left the apple pie alone and just did what a lot of companies do where they just change the color on it. Make it red and green striped dough, or maybe a raspberry or a cranberry filling.
Okay. Cranberry pie? I've never had it. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe you can make that a thing.
Warm vanilla custard sound.
Cranberries are pretty tart. That's pretty tart for McDonald's palates. I feel like a gooey pudding is more in line with their brand.
We'll agree to disagree on this one. It's a Christmas miracle. But yeah, Hickson's is a wonderful store. Again, this is also local. They're in Lakewood, and I don't know how long they've been there. Probably it feels like 60 years.
Probably since the 60s or 70s.
But there's a wonderful man who works there named Mr. Hickson, and he makes ornaments, and he has made the official White House ornament for the past... Again, it could be as long as they've been open. I'm not entirely sure.
At least since Reagan.
But that is a Christmas Cleveland experience to definitely see for yourselves if you've never been to Hickson's, because it's open year round. It's not all just Christmas, but they have all kinds of lovely things in there. But once you get in the back of the store, it's just ornaments from floor to ceiling, and the old vintage style glass ones that are hard to find. I mean, you can find them in Target, but what's that? Let's keep this train going.
I feel like you're like the thing with Hickson's that's so intimidating is the exterior is pane glass from floor to ceiling, and they have a gigantic Raggedy Ann doll that they have lit from underneath. Like it's their cult totem. It stares at you at night. Yeah, it's very magical. Actually, I asked the last question?
Oh, you did?
So it's your turn.
Oh, I thought you meant
you just started going off on Hickson's.
Yeah, There's no script for this. So, I did find, and I brought my Christmas list. This is a Christmas list of mine
from last year.
1991. This is all flipped around, but I told Zachariah I would scan it and send it to him, so maybe he'll, in post, put this up on the screen. That's me hoping for just one more Christmas gift.
How many things are on this list?
I dreamt big, because there's also a back.
Yeah.
The first is, if you can
20,
see it.
An even 20.
It is Nintendo, spelled with a T. Mm-hmm. I was,
So she got you that weird knockoff from Mexico, Nintendo, with the Murillo brothers.
I spelled Mario, but no, yeah, it would have been the knockoff version. But I must have had the Sears Wish book right in front of me, just going through the pages, because these are all things straight out of it. I had Nintendo games, Super Mario 2 and Super Mario 3, because I knew that the Nintendo came with Super Mario. Starbright Sparkles, Ski Fun Chocolate Shop.
Oh, we're really going to do the whole thing.
Yeah, why not? Or some of it. Susie Snapshot, which I had forgotten about, and I later Googled that. That was a little doll.
Oh, yeah, vaguely remember that.
That would awkwardly walk, and it had a little camera, and it would take pictures of you, and you were supposed to pretend that you were the model and being photographed. But
her dream.
No, I
a
wanted...
person who can't talk taking her picture.
Wanted the camera because I am a photographer. Yeah. I wasn't then, but I am now.
Yes, no, I'm connecting the pieces. Yeah. Sure. Could you use it as a child? It was a play camera. It didn't actually do anything. Okay.
It flashed, though, and I thought that was supremely cool.
I don't know what Ski Fun Chocolate Shop is.
It was a little, just a little fake setup, like a ski lodge, but you could make hot chocolate, and it came with little hot chocolate packets.
Yeah. Oh, God. Was there anything better than, like, the little food that you could make?
Nope.
I never got it, but I always wanted it.
Well, I didn't get that Ski Fun hot chocolate set either, so...
And what are Starbright Sparkles?
Starbright Sparkles, I believe that was the doll that had the crown. It was a blonde doll with a crown in the top of the head, and you could use it in your bedroom. You turn the lights off, and the crown had a projector in it, and it would project a star scene on the ceiling.
Her eyes would roll back in her head. Wow. There were so many dolls in the 80s that were just like a piece of machinery that they then like just stuck a doll around. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was supremely cool.
Yeah.
The rest of these are really
go through them.
Nintendo games. Something I wrote down called Snow Bob, but I later realized was Snow Brothers, the Nintendo game.
Sure.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I was very specific about that. The Where's Waldo Nintendo game. Bowling, lots of books, but the back is where it gets...
lots of books is where it gets vague.
This is where it gets interesting, because number 13 on the list is Mall Madness.
Mm-hmm. A game where you pretended like you were in a mall.
And that you had money to spend. Stuffed Paddington Bears. I loved Paddington Bears when I was a little kid. I still do.
Oh, boy, I'm getting down this list.
Yeah, and then I really saved the best for last, because I thought we would end on a high note. Number 16, Peace in the World. Number 17, No Guns. Mm-hmm. 18, No Wars. 19, Money. And then 20, Clothes. So you have to sweeten the pot by showing that you're a good person.
And to be fair, I don't think your mother ever introduced a war into your life.
Just that divorce.
Yeah, so Peace in the World did not, or guns.
So, my question for you after reading this Christmas list of mine, the one thing I did get off of this list was the Nintendo, and I was over the moon.
That was the year?
That was the year
Nice.
of the Nintendo. So what was a real standout item from a Christmas list you asked for that you did, that Santa Claus brought you and that you lost your little mind over?
Well, first of all, I was... Please don't fall over in shock. I was a very dramatic child, and my parents did not quite know how best to handle me sometimes. So
I'm gonna leave that one.
They
right there.
They opted not to tell me about Santa Claus because, in their words, if you had found out or figured out it wasn't real, it would have imploded you. So. And they were right. They were probably very right in that. So I never had a Santa experience, which meant I could cut out the middleman and go right to the source and tell my parents, you're getting this. So let's see. I remember two big things off the top of my head. One was I was probably 5 or 6, and I woke up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, whenever my parents had just gone to sleep from putting presents under the tree. And I had received one of those big saucer sleds, those big round plastic saucer sleds, and it had like a Bobcat sticker on or something. And I grabbed it and I ran into the room and went, "Thank you!" Threw the sled on their bed and woke them up.
Did you slide on it under the bed?
I'm sure they were asleep for 5 minutes, and then I came barreling in. So that was the Christmas where they also said, like, if you wake up before us, you can watch any movies you want. Just wait for us to wake up.
Rambo 1 through 4.
The good lesson memory that I have is there was a camera. It must have been 11 or 12. It was called the PXL 2000.
Oh, right.
Do you remember this? Oh, okay.
No.
It was only around for a year. It was a camcorder that was marketed to kids.
Oh.
It was I wanted to be a film director. It's all I wanted to do. It's all I talked about. So there was this very stripped down camcorder that you could buy and then like plug it into your TV and you could watch things back. I didn't investigate it too hard because I was just like, a camcorder for kids, it's what I need. Finally, my Oscar is secure. And it was like, my family, we weren't like super hard off, but we were in no means like flush with cash. And it was a pricey gift, so I really didn't expect I was going to get it, but I did get it, and I was shocked. And then I learned the value of knowing what you're asking for, because this camera, one, only shot in black and white, and I was not quite like a little, like I wasn't making Manhattan.
You weren't indie enough to realize
not
that
yet.
Like, Clerks is gonna be a hit.
And second, it didn't really record sound. So when I discovered that, it was like, so thankfully I processed all that and was humble enough to ask if we could like return it. And we did in time for us to get like an actual refund on it. But that was a good lesson in terms of like, really research what you think you want. Don't just look at the ad and go for it.
That is good. I remember the way I found out about Santa Claus being a sham. I know I've told you the story before, but it was due to the Snoopy snow cone maker. I think I was only 4 or 5, and I got one on Christmas morning. I was very excited. I threw some ice in it to make my mom a breakfast snow cone, and it immediately broke because the entire thing is made out of plastic. And she said, and I quote, "Oh, damn it, I didn't save the receipt." And I instantly knew that meant that she bought it, and that tag that said "To Laura from Santa" was a complete farce.
Dirty lie.
But it was something I just quietly accepted. I didn't freak out. It didn't make me sad to know about Santa, but I wanted to still keep believing for all of my other friends. So I never told any of my friends that he wasn't the real deal. And I remember my friend Jacqueline in 2nd grade was getting teased by some other kids, like, Santa's not real, and she was upset. And I said, "Yes, he is." Put my arm around her and just pulled her away from him.
Let's go, Rachel.
Go. Put my leather jacket over my shoulders, smoked a cigarette, and walked away.
I was under strict instructions. I could not tell kids that it was a farce.
That's good.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't want to be that one kid. Actually.
I was that kid about everything else, so Santa was the thing that they knew was hallowed ground. All right. Each have one each after this. We're 25 right now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Around the corner on 30. And I mean, hey, we can keep going on this. I'm thinking about how much an audience really wants to hear about our lives.
You know what? They have the option to skip over or stop. Please don't.
Yes. Everyone exercises logic when it comes to this stuff.
They're just going to keep watching and watching. I hate this.
What holiday treat did you fetishize as a kid or even still do now that you would crave at Christmas?
Holiday treat. I don't know if there really was one as a kid so much. My mom. Yeah, you go first because.
Novelty ice cream treats, Christmas themed. Friendly's had, and they still do. I don't know if they just re-released or it's never gone. But there was a Friendly's holiday roll, which was just like an ice cream roll, very 80s. So chocolate hull, vanilla rolled outside, and then just the whole thing rolled in a candy shop, basically, with some whipped cream on it, and you'd slice it and put it on little plates. Nothing more elegant. And then there was, this is something that I will say to people, they have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'll show them a picture, and then they'll go, oh, right. There was a series of ice cream novelty treats, and there is like no brand name on it.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Either like Christmas trees or gingerbread men.
Yep.
And they tasted like that weird, soft, like,
it's how frozen soft serve.
Yes. Or you know how when you go to an ice cream truck and you get like Blue Bunny novelty?
Yep.
And it is actually like some frozen whey treat. That's why Blue Bunny ice cream is vegan. It was that, I think.
I remember those very clearly now that you mentioned that. And
weirdly expensive, too.
Weirdly expensive. I think you only got, four
yeah.
or 5
The spirit of giving was not included.
And I didn't like them, but yet I did.
Right.
It was like...
I liked them, but...
Yeah. I remember those very vividly. Do you remember the holiday cookies that came in a tub? And they were shortbread cookies that had red and green, the clear type sprinkles in them?
I mean, I know that style of cookie. I don't know if there's a specific brand you're going for.
I don't know what the brand was back in the 80s when we would buy them, but they have since discontinued that brand, and Tasty Cake now makes them, and they're not the same. It's just, they're real thick, and they don't have a lot of flavor, and...
There goes our Tasty Cake sponsorship.
Sorry. Just...
What? It was not the same. It must not be, but not the same company that everyone's Nana had like her sewing kit in.
Not
the
those,
short blue tin with the butter cookies. Okay.
Yeah, no, not those. I do oddly associate Viennetta, the Viennetta loaf. That they don't make that anymore in the States. They only make that in Australia, which because I have searched for it.
I'm looking this up. I don't know what the Viennetta loaf is.
Viennetta was an ice cream loaf that you'd get, and it was expensive, which is why
nothing
we would
makes
get
the mouth water like the word loaf.
I know, but it had chocolate drizzled on top, and it was very thin chocolate. It was not just like a gob of chocolate, and it was very crisp and light, and it was delicious. And I also recommend looking up on YouTube the process in which they make Viennetta loaves, because it is oddly soothing and fascinating. But that is something I do. The commercials, the old commercials are great too.
Good news. If you live in Europe or Asia, you can still buy these as well. This is Breyers. Wonder why they decided Americans... I guess that sort of like slice and eat ice cream lost its allure after the 90s, right?
We want to eat it right out of the tub.
Yeah, it just became Ben and Jerry's style where you just jam like whole cookies and pennies and everything in a tub of ice cream.
Did you ask the last? Oh no, you asked about treats.
Mm-hmm.
Did you? So my parents did this one year when I was 5, and there are pictures that exist, but it's seared into my memory. So this would have been the last year that I knew about Santa Claus. So I was either 4 or 5. my mom had a friend of hers, my mom was a school teacher, and she had a school teacher friend of hers show up to the house like 3 days before Christmas dressed as Santa. And he came at like 7 o'clock at night. I was in my Christmas jammies, and he had a couple ornaments, and we put them on the tree, and he left a little present and said, "I'll see you in a few days," and left. Did your parents ever? Oh, no, you just told me. Never mind.
No,
you didn't. Yeah, there was no
dress
Santa.
as Jesus.
He just walked in carrying a cross. Said, "I'm just going to stick it in the front yard."
Oh, it was baby. It was baby Jesus. That's canon. No, but I have played Santa for the past like 6 years, every year in Coventry.
That's right.
And it was great. This is the first year I haven't been able to play Santa for Coventry's holiday day, and it's something I really love doing. I was actually really disappointed not to do it, because I've seen at least a quarter of those kids have been the same kids every single year, so I've seen those kids grow up.
Isn't that interesting? It's a weird thing as an adult to be able to have that experience watching kids grow up when you know, if they're not your kids. I used to work at Ohio School Pictures when I was in my early 20s, and I worked there as a photographer for 4 years. So I would see kids going from either elementary school, the same, going into middle school and high school, and it was fun. Oh wait, we were going to talk about some movies. Can we do that too?
Yeah, sure.
So I brought along some of my holiday hits. One that I saw in the movie theater with my mom when it was released, and she loves Chevy Chase, so I am of course talking about Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation. This
is pretty obscure. If
you've
don't
probably never
know...
heard of it. But my mom is, for as much as I am a movie person and always have been, she is not. She could care less about going to the movies, seeing movies. This was something she watched year-round. She would put on while she was...
Year-round?
Year-round. This movie lived in our house. It was like a fourth family member.
Wow.
She loves this movie. This and A Very Brady Christmas.
Is your mom a Christmas person? Like, is that her comfort zone?
A little bit, but she's not like over... You know, it's not like every inch of the house is decorated to the nines and she has like Christmas... kitchen utensils or anything like that. For whatever reason, she just thought this was the funniest thing she had ever seen, and those were the only two movies I ever saw her go nuts over, and this one especially.
Wow.
So this holds a special place in my heart. I was young when it came out, so a lot of the jokes initially went over my head, but there's something about watching it on VHS too. It makes it better. What are your thoughts about... Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
It's fine. There's parts that are funny. I love Randy Quaid.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's very funny.
When he still had his faculties about him.
There is a moment where I do love it every time, which is the aftermath of the tree sap, where he's reading a magazine and they're all ripping apart in his... Because he doesn't ever say, like, wow, that tree sap really made everything sticky. It's just him silently getting frustrated, and I do think that's really funny.
And kissing Beverly D'Angelo goodnight.
Yes, and the hair comes off on her. That's very, very funny.
So another one is the classic, which I saw in the theater as well with my mom, Home Alone. Very fond memories of this. Could not find my VHS copy. It's somewhere in my house, but rest assured, I have it on DVD, too. I absolutely love this movie. It was always very upsetting to me that Kevin never got to eat the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, he has a whole spread, and then he I guess that was a way for them not to make this child just like ingest endless bowls of macaroni. Although they made him,
it would have only slowed him down.
They force fed him ice cream later in Home Alone Part 2. He's actually eating that giant sundae in Home Alone, which means there's take after take of him eating a gallon of ice cream somewhere.
He's eating ice cream in the first part, too.
Does he eat it? Do you see him actually, like, ingest it?
When he's watching Angels with Filthy Souls. I mean, I don't know if I can't confirm if he was swallowing it, but it was
he was a kid, he probably was.
I did not know that about part 2. However, there are some fun featurettes on the Family Fun edition of this behind the scenes, so maybe it would tell us that. What are your thoughts on
I have a feeling these special features are pretty gentle.
Yeah. We made him eat the ice cream, and even though he was lactose intolerant, Macaulay Culkin's agent was pissed.
His dad just made him do whatever was in the script. Poor Macaulay Culkin. I'm glad that man has pulled through the dark night of the soul.
That Google commercial he did, was it last year or the year before? That felt
like a cleansing process for him. Right? Like, this thing just hangs over you like a specter for your life, and you're finally like, here I am, I'm in the house again. Uh-oh.
Aren't I a stinker?
Here's a burglar. Is this what you want?
Do you have fond memories of watching this? Or
I have the opposite. I hated this movie as a kid. I went to see it, and I did not like it. I thought it was really annoying. It's really, I don't know, I just think it's unpleasant.
My mom, I remember walking out of the theater, and she said, I enjoyed it, that family was so mean to him.
Oh, that didn't bother me. It's just, I don't know. I also think that Macaulay Culkin is a pretty, like, it is an Olsen twin school of acting where, like, they're just off camera saying, like, all right, Mac, Buzz's girlfriend, Wolf. All right, say it. Buzz's girlfriend, Wolf. Great.
What he's saying is he could have done much, much better with a wider range.
Sure. Yeah. No, you need a docile kid who does what you're asking when you have a child actor on your hands.
There's no child actor in this next one except for Will Ferrell himself. So I did not see Elf for the longest time. I actually only first saw this film maybe 5 years ago, and I was very, very skeptical about it. And
Were you force-fed it?
No, I wasn't force-fed it. I think it was streaming on one of the platforms, and it's not that I dislike Will Ferrell. I think he's hilarious, but there was something about it that just put me off, and I never wanted to see it. I was like, I am not going to like it, and I ended up really loving it.
Yeah, this movie should be bad, but it's great and it works.
I think I was working at Hollywood Video when did this come out? This is not interesting for anyone watching. I think I was a shift leader at Hollywood Video when this came out, and that is tied into my big disdain for it initially, because we had four walls
both barrels
of DVDs and VHS for people to rent, and it was just... I mean, if it wasn't in stock for, I don't think 3 months. It was just always gone. And you will never see people lose their minds more than if you worked at a video rental store in the 90s and
it was
early 2000s. Yeah, it just... There is no level of patience or understanding when you tell someone, I'm sorry, we don't have that video for you to watch tonight. You're going to have to talk to your kids or watch something else. People were not forgiving on that. So I think that was built in with, I don't even want to watch it.
Sure, right. No, I always forget how funny this movie is, because I really don't watch the same movies every year.
Okay.
Because I like it to be fresh. If I watch it every single year, it'll just become a little rote.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always forget how funny this movie is.
For sure. And I like the little hat tip they do to the Rankin Bass.
Those animals are great.
Yeah, the claymation part. Another one of my favorites is I love vintage cartoons. I know Zachariah does as well, but one that will make me tear up every time I watch it, and I don't watch it every year, but it is great. It is Christmas Comes But Once a Year. You can find it on YouTube. It's a little. Have you seen that? It's a Fleischer one.
I'm sure I've seen it. I maybe don't know the title, as it is a little generic.
It's about these.
It's called Santa Claus is Fun. You seen that one?
These
is
precious...
it this one with the?
Yes, that is the...
I have seen that.
Yeah, these precious children living in an orphanage who are just waiting for Christmas morning because Santa is promised to come, and he does not deliver to these kids. So man hears them crying and decides he's going to dress up like Santa and make them a bunch of toys. And it's very, very heartwarming. Cute. I love it.
And that is Pappy, Betty Boop's dad. That's who that's supposed to be. Her inventor father. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
It is really... We're doing Pappy, the guy with the, like... Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. He makes a gun that makes ornaments, basically, appear on the tree. He has, like, inventions, right? And he comes in. Yes, that is Pappy.
So we're learning things today.
The beloved canon of Betty Boop's family.
The only other thing I brought to gab about here, is this behemoth of a book that my mom would pull out every year to put on the coffee table. And I credit this for, I know it's huge, for giving me a love of photography, because what it is it's just a collection of photographers from all over the United States who submitted photos from Christmas seasons, and it is a great book. It smells like photos, but it's really beautiful, and I encourage you to check it out. Did you have any Christmas items that you loved that your parents put out as decorations, or did they really stay away from holiday? Like, did your parents have Christmas decorations? I don't know.
Yeah, they just didn't talk to me about Santa because I was a maniac. It was not like they hated Christmas.
Well, I don't know how much they had to suppress it down.
No, my dad worked as a ornament sculptor for American Greetings, so
okay, so you must have had a bunch of kick-ass ornaments.
We had 5 trees worth of ornaments at all times. I mean, we didn't always have 5 trees. I'm just saying, like, we had a slew of them because he worked for a company that made tons of Christmas stuff as their bread and butter. So yes, we had a lot of Christmas decorations.
What was your favorite ornament?
There were some flocked neon-colored animals from the 60s that my parents had hung on to. I don't know. There were some neon. I don't have anything to show, and I'm just like relaying personal memories of ornaments that nobody's familiar with, so I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds on it. But no, I loved the decorations at Christmas. I got very into it. Anybody who would come into our home as a guest would have the misfortune of me demanding that they will get a tour of my room, as I had decorated it very thoroughly. I was very proud of it.
I decorated my room for Christmas too.
Mm-hmm.
I would clear off the top of my dresser and make that like a very specific holiday scene.
Oh, for every holiday.
It started with Christmas, and then as I got older, I did it with Halloween as well.
Nice. Okay.
I never was a fan of Easter, so
Easter's tough.
Yeah, there's something about it's the time of year that it happens, and it's always
the most beautiful time of year in Ohio. A season of slush depressing. Mountains and mud. But we don't have slush mountains and mud right now. It's actually the very fake Hollywood snow falling outside of my window now. So it's actually, this is the most pleasant time of the year to have it. Take it while you can get it.
After today, I don't want to see it anymore.
That's right. After that, it becomes a point of complaint. So enjoy this Christmas snow. And that kind of concludes my Christmas memories. We're at a good time.
Yeah. I don't have any. I think my Christmas memory well is dry.
Yeah. Time to make new Christmas memories this year.
And now everyone has this one.
Yeah, and now you've taken on our memories and you know a little bit more about us, gentle viewer. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Christmas, or
don't.
Not Christmas.
I mean, it's not really
eat that Chinese food and get it. Thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah, thanks for conjuring up the idea. I guess when will we see everyone again? Right after the New Year?
Mm-hmm. The week after the New Year. Well, maybe we'll make another one of these about a different subject.
Who knows?
Bye, everyone.